Broadway shows like The Lion King and Wicked are household names around the world, but few people know who the Nederlander family are and what they've meant to New York's legendary theater district.
This is our 100th anniversary. In 1912, my grandfather, David T. Nederlander, acquired his first theater.
Since then, the family-run Nederlander organization has become a key player on Broadway, managing about half of the area's theaters, including its eponymous showplace on 41st Street. So you're the founder of Nederlander Worldwide Entertainment. How many theaters does it manage in New York and nationwide and internationally?
Well, as a family, we operate over 30 theaters throughout the United States, London, and of course now internationally. The 9 theaters here on Broadway are mostly musical theaters. Of course, many of the greatest shows that have come through the Broadway industry have played in a Nederlander theater. Today, our shows such as long-running shows such as Wicked and Lion King are, of course, extremely well known, not just in the United States but throughout the world.
In recent years, the company has brought top Broadway productions to Chinese cities and introduced Chinese shows to Broadway.
Our background in China goes back actually 40 years with the start of ping pong diplomacy. And my father had a small role in that effort as a regent at the University of Michigan. And he led the first delegation of academics since the Cultural Revolution to China in 1976. My interest and our family's interest really began with that effort. Of course, at that time, the cultural industry was quite young.
Under China's revised rules on the administration of commercial performing arts, Nederlander opened its first foreign entity in 2005.
Our first effort in China started with a joint venture that we put together. And that was the first joint venture in the performing arts sector with a foreign company. And that was a great honor for us to be a pioneer in the cultural industry.
How difficult was it to be the pioneer back then?
Well, I enjoyed it, but I have to say there are challenges. And those challenges I don't think are unique to necessarily what we do in Broadway or in culture. It's the challenges of language, of course, the challenges of the way business is conducted, and of course the challenges in that Broadway is an industry that has been in existence for well over 100 years, and in China it is just starting.
Over the years, Nederlander Worldwide has established a network of theaters in China in hopes of bringing stage plays and musicals to major cities such as Beijing, Shanghai, Suzhou, Xi'an, Tianjin, and others.
We have offices in both Shanghai and Beijing. And we have several different partners in each city. But of course, our shows have played in 15 markets across China. Our efforts are to bring Broadway and Western culture not just to Shanghai and Beijing, but to many of the wonderful cities throughout China.
In 2007, Nederlander Entertainment staged the Tony Award-winning 42nd Street in 9 Chinese cities, the most extensive Chinese tour of a Broadway show to that point. 2 years later, the company launched its China on Broadway initiative to help present Chinese culture live on stage in New York. Soul of Shaolin was the first production in the series.
Soul of Shaolin was a commercial success as well as a great experience for everyone involved, and of course, and I would say most importantly for the audiences, they had a chance to see great Chinese entertainment. It was a project which allowed our producing partners as well as our partners here on Broadway to understand how some of the differences in how the cultural industry operates, but at the end finding common ground to have a successful production.
In recent years, American audiences have been exposed to a number of Chinese shows in the U.S. So far in 2012, several productions have been staged at New York's Lincoln Center. Robert Nederlander says authentic Chinese shows are significant in many respects.
I think it's fabulous. Culture is a wonderful way for peoples to better understand each other. And I think as just as the best of American culture goes to China and is presented in front of Chinese audiences. And having great Chinese culture coming here, whether it's commercial as we do on Broadway or elsewhere.
Since 2010, Nederlander Worldwide Entertainment has arranged a masterclass, an annual assembly of 20 or so Chinese officials, theater professionals, and academics who come to New York to attend a week of cross-cultural events. Their program covers musical theater production, casting, budgeting, promotion, ticketing, and marketing. We've seen an increasing number of people who are coming into the performing arts industry over the years. Despite the increasing number, what challenges do you think the performance industry is still facing?
The challenges in any new industry, of course, come from the growing pains. The development of the new theaters is perhaps the easier, the more immediate result of the growth in the cultural industry in China. Of course, you can't have a successful theater unless you have successful management, and of course shows that people want to see. So with the hardware has to come the software. The Nederlander family are thrilled to be working with our many friends in China. We believe that this will be a very important market for us in the future.